everyone. Let me turn my camera on. Hi, everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Preciousbarnes with Coldwell Banker Advantage, and today with me I have.
Chanika Hood with Coldwell Banker Realty.
Yes, and she's based out of Georgia. I'm in North Carolina, and today we just wanted to come on and talk to first time home buyers who may be interested in switching from renting to owning and go over a few things that are universal and what is more market focused. So between the two of us, again, as mentioned, we have experience in. She has experience in property management. I have experience in leasing. So most confusion doesn't come from purchasing a home. It comes from mixing advice from different markets. So you may hear advice from Florida, Arizona, California, North Carolina, and Georgia. And you may also be receiving advice from like
Right.
your family or a friend who purchased in another completely different state. And while it's good that they're offering advice, it just may not be the best advice for you as a buyer. Okay, so one universal rule, no matter where you buy, is when you're working with a realtor, which is an agent who's a part of the National Association of Realtors. They will require that you sign a written buyer agreement. And I'll let Shanika talk about a little bit about what agreements you may sign. Um, but they will require that prior to you touring properties. Within that agreement, it must clearly state the services that an agent will offer you as the buyer, as well as compensation. Compensation is fully negotiable. There is not a set law for compensation. It is something that you will discuss with, um, it's something that you negotiate. Um, so, Shanika, do
Right.
you want to touch a little bit about what type of written agreements you guys have in Georgia?
Well, you are completely correct with the written agreement. As far as for Georgia, it's actually a universal rule that no matter where you buy, one rule is universal that if your agent is a member of the NAR, a written buyer agency agreement is required before touring the property. And so there are a few ways to get around it, but a written agency agreement has to be signed before touring a property. That's one thing that it has to be done. So you can have one that's only for 24 hours, but it still would have to be signed in order to be able to tour the property. So it's actually one of those things that it's across the board here in Georgia and in North Carolina as well.
Yep,
But
guys. So,
the agency agreement, it does explain it explains who the agent represents, what services the buyer receives, how the agent is compensated, and who pays when the contract is closed, because it can be either the buyer paying the compensation or the seller. So that's the parts that need to get negotiated. But I'll pass it back over to you, Precious.
yeah, so perfectly said, as you heard it from me and her. It is a universal thing. If the agent is a part of the National Association of Realtors, that is required. Now, something that is market focused here in North Carolina, we have what's called a due
Yeah.
diligence fee. And that fee is also not required, but it does help with um, it helps when it comes to like strategically um, placing an offer for the home that you want to. So it's part of like your offer package. So while due diligence is not required, it is something that is practiced here in North Carolina. And you will work with a local agent to talk more about it. But a lot of like Florida doesn't have a due diligence fee. Do you guys have a due diligence fee in Georgia?
Now, Georgia does not have a due diligence fee. Buyers typically submit earnest money only, and the earnest money is held in an escrow, not to be paid to the seller. And so, with the held in the escrow, that's just an account that's set up to hold the money until the contract is agreed upon. And when the terms have come to complete negotiations, then you're able to release that money. But until then, it's held in the escrow until the contract is complete. But during the inspection period, hold on. You know what? No, I'm going too quick. So go ahead. I'll let you go back. But as far as Georgia, we do
Okay.
not have that due diligence fee. But it is every state does require to show some type of commitment. And
Mm-hmm.
so they do want to see something to show that you're actually serious about buying the property, point blank period.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, guys, that's just one universal rule, and that's something that's also market focused. And just as like a extra gem, Florida have closings with title companies, and that's not the case in North Carolina. Nor is that the case in Georgia. And then something else that a lot of people are shocked to learn is that Houston has no zoning laws. So I don't know all of what that entails. So that's why we're here today to encourage you guys as a first time home buyer to book a consultation with a real estate agent in your market. Most of the time, well, some agents may offer this as a consultation, so it won't hurt to just reach out to an agent and see what the process is. Go ahead and start having that conversation. um, you don't need to know everything, you just need to know what rules apply for where you are looking to buy. And this is why having agents who understand different markets and work together matters. um, So before I end this and close this out, do you have anything else you want to add, Shanika?
Okay. Yeah, it's buffering a little bit. So I just wanted to let you know if you did say you, because it's
Okay.
just doing that little buffer part.
Uh,
But I know before I, as far as when you were referring to Florida, when you were saying North Carolina and Florida have that title companies and they can close there. Georgia actually requires real estate attorneys to conduct their closings. So that's one of the differences that we have here, that we have to have a real estate attorney present when closing the transaction.
yeah, that's the case here for North Carolina as well. But yeah, so there it is, guys. There's some few tips to get you started in your process. If you have any additional questions, feel free to send us an email, give us a call. I will link our contact information below. So thank you so much for joining, Miss Shanika, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. And thank you guys for joining the live. Bye.
And thank you, Precious. I appreciate